All right, you guys. This your boy back at y'all with another one. Shouts out to the Lions Den basketball community. Give the video a like, hit subscribe, ring the bell whenever I go live. That way you get those notifications. Also, YouTube has me on the shadow ban. There's also been unsubscribing people from my channel. So check your timeline for whenever I drop a video. And also recheck your notification settings when because let's say YouTube has been unsubscribing people from the channel unwillingly, and then there's been so I've gotten those instances, and I also got instances to where people are not getting notifications. So make sure you check those two elements if you don't mind. Now let's get down to business. So after Golden State's blowout win against the Cleveland Cavaliers last night, Draymond Green in a post-game interview goes completely off the rails and part of that diatribe that he went on had to do with the treatment of Andre Drummond. Now, we all know Andre Drummond is a perennial all-star. It's disgusting what Cleveland is doing to Andre Drummond, right? There ain't too many times where I agree with Draymond Green, right? His on-court play leaves lots to be desired, right? But we're not talking about his on-court play, right? So I don't want anyone confusing the two. I'm not talking about Draymond Green's play, right? Because his play leaves lots to be desired. But I am talking about, though, however, is the double standards in the NBA, and he's absolutely right about that. There is double standards in the NBA. And so a player asks to be traded, and he gets, he's expected to, remain a consummate professional, and he's expected to stay in shape, and he's expected to, just go along with the get along until a trade can be made. But if a player requests a trade to put himself in a better situation, then he's no longer loyal. Now, I want to say this, right? Because we have to treat things on a case by case basis, right? Because when you start throwing blanket statements out there, then that's when you have a lot of people coming in and money in the waters. But well, what about this and what about that? So we have to treat each situation on a case by case basis, right? Now, and I say that because I point back to the situation that happened in Houston with James Harden. When James Harden wanted out of Houston, right? After he basically had the organization by the gonads, they basically gave him carte blanche to do whatever he want when he want. And then when it didn't result in them winning championships, when it resulted in them getting booted from the playoffs year in and year out, when it resulted in the various trades that didn't work out, when James Harden was out there underperforming when the team needed him most, then the same organization that gave him carte blanche is the same organization he threw under the bus. So when a new regime comes in and he didn't get the same goodies, giveaways, and guarantees, his ego was hurt by that. So instead of working with the new teammates he had now, when John Wall basically reached out to him and was like, "Hey, look, we can do this, man, if you're willing to buy in." But James Harden was not willing to buy in. James Harden just basically threw his hands up and was like, "Well, you know what? I'm out of here. I've mentally checked out." And he's throwing, he basically forced his way out of Houston, throwing basketballs at teammates, not showing up to, not showing up for a week, and then when he did show up, the dude running around here looked like a mini Goodyear blimp. So we have to treat each situation as its own unique entity. He basically forces we out of Houston through unprofessional conduct. But I do agree with Draymond Green that the way these players get treated though is it's it causes concern in my opinion. So he's not wrong on that. Players and they get traded all the time, and the one thing I don't like though, right? Because I could point to two other instances, right? DeMarcus Cousins was in the interview when he found out he got traded. If you're going to trade the player, at least let him know that you're going to trade him. Sit them down like they did, like when the Detroit Pistons organization, when they wanted to move on from Blake Griffin and all that, and Blake Griffin, kind of had a mutual feeling. They sit down, they talked about it, and both sides agreed to it. At least that's what reports say. For all we know, they probably told him to kick rocks. They didn't have the interview, and they just they probably just put that out there for as a PR face saving tactic, because that happens all the time too. They probably paid us some hush money, and they probably paid us some money not to come back to the team, and then they hold a press conference like, yeah, we mutually agreed to part ways, but the meeting probably never even happened. That was nothing more than a PR face saving tactic that they did. So that happens too. If you think that doesn't happen, then you're living under a rock, because it does happen. But let's just say, for all intents and purposes, things are on the up and up. Players come in, organization comes in with them, they talk about it, they mutually agree to part ways. Okay, then you get the report from Adrian Wojnarowski or Sam Sharani or whoever, right? But for a guy to be at an interview, or the guy to be at a summer league game like the Rosen, that after the organization explicitly told him he wasn't getting traded, and he's at a summer league game, and he finds out when everybody else finds out that he gets traded. That's fucked up, especially considering all the time and money and energy that individual or that star player has put into the community, he's put into the organization. Because it's more than just the organization, man. The community outreach, the whole NBA cares, right? Where I don't know if they have to do so many hours of community service or whatever like that. The way they work at the Y, or they're doing summer league for kids or whatever, or they're handing out turkeys at a food bank for Thanksgiving. Whatever the case may be, they do community outreach, and so where's the outrage in that? If a player requests to get traded, or if a player, becomes a free agent and he wants to go somewhere else, then you got fans burning jerseys. You got fucking organizations, people within the organization. Sometimes it be the owner themselves calling them turncoats, and they're not loyal and all that. But you're not loyal to the players, because as soon as the players start making you money, you cast them off to the wayside. Shout out to the Queen Unique Dawn in the building. Good to see you on this fine morning. So yes, I do agree with Draymond Green. Do I think he's a scrub? Hell yeah, I think he's a scrub. But that's not what I'm talking about here. So I don't want anybody confusing the two. He actually told the truth on this. And something absolutely has to be done because these players go do way too much. They get their bodies put on the line every day for our entertainment. Because at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. No matter all the politics that goes on behind the scenes, the on-court play, we talk about it from an X's and O's and strategy, right? To find out who has it mentally, who doesn't have it mentally, who's physically imposing on it, how they talk about referees, this and that. All that goes into the on-court play. But at the end of the day, it's entertainment. When you slice that pie 100 ways, at the end of the day, it's still a pie. And that pie is the entertainment aspect of it. These players go through grueling sessions, physically, mentally. That shit can be taxing on some people. And for an organization to just come out and just toss them aside like they're a piece of trash is disgusting. Now, Andre Drummond is a perennial all-star, multiple-time all-star. You would think he would have gotten a little bit more respect than the treatment that he's gotten so far. Oh man, the traditional big man, he just can't play in today's NBA, man. Traditional big man, because you know why everybody's so fixated on the three-point shot. Everybody and their daddy want to shoot threes now. They basically bring Euro ball to the United States. Because we're so fascinated by a guy 6'11", 7'2", that can light it up from the three-point arc. Oh man, he can stretch the floor. Right? We need people that can stretch the floor. Look, basketball is a simple game. It's a simple game. And you get these so-called analytic nerds and you get all these jackasses that don't know nothing about basketball coming in and they want to overcomplicate stuff. It's a simple game. The object of the game, if you're on offense, is to put the ball in the basket. The object of the defense is to stop the person from putting the ball in the basket. It's a simple game. Why are we overcomplicating this stuff? It just gets on my nerve how these stat nerds just come in and basically change up how the way games is played because they saw something overseas and they want to adopt it over here, right? We're not even promoting our own homegrown talent. We're promoting guys that are coming from overseas and playing here. You don't believe me? Luka Doncic, man. Look, Luka Doncic is a fucking beast. He's a beast. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's a beast. But really, truth be told, the only American player that gets any kind of hype is LeBron. So we in America, we need to stop chasing all these overseas players and start developing our own. When Zion came in as a rookie last year, that dude got all kinds of media attention. He's not getting as much attention now, but that still don't take away the fact that what they talk about when Zion, oh, he need to lose some weight and his career could be cut short if they always try to criticize somebody else. When Luka Doncic running around here crying about calls all the time and all that, oh man, he's just a fiery competitor. Shit, that was my laptop. Fuck. Anyway, where was I at again? Oh yeah. So Luka Doncic can cry about calls and all that. He's a fiery competitor. But you let somebody like, I don't know, Say on the off chance Kawhi Leonard is crying about these same calls. Now we all know Kawhi Leonard is a quiet player. He's a quiet assassin. But say Kawhi Leonard was running around here talking, oh man, these referees, man, the officiating has been horrible. We need to do something about these referees. Then you get, the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, man. Well, you need to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, and you don't need to be complaining about fouls and all that. Yeah, because I flamed Paul George about that. I did a video not that long ago about Paul George complaining about only shooting one free throw. But yeah, Luka Doncic could complain about calls and nothing gets talked about that. Well, Luka, shut the fuck up and play. Nobody wants to hear about you complaining about calls and all that because you're going to the hole at will. That's pretty much to be expected at that point. It's pretty much to be expected that you're going to get hacked when you go in the hole. So shut the hell up and play. What's up, Neutral? But yeah, going back to Draymond Green and what he said last night, he was absolutely right that the NBA should do something about this because it is inexcusable the treatment these players get. You're asking these guys to put their bodies and their mind states on the line all the time. What's up, Charlie? Good day to you, mate. That's the homie from down under. But for real though, they need to do something about this because these players, they get put on the trading block and they get bought out all the time, and they're supposed to remain the consummate professional, right? These teams, it's just more than just, oh well, I'm moving and all that. A lot of these players got families, so basically you're asking them to at the flash of lightning bolt uproot their family, and they got to find a new home. Say they got, say like the family got a business on the side. Now they got to close down their business and has to, start at a new location. Kids at school, they got to be uprooted from school. Now they got to find a new school to go to. It's more than just a player getting traded. You got to think about the family situation, how that impacts the family, how that impacts the wife, how that impacts the children. Say the children loves where they're at, and then you're asking them to go to some new area. They don't have no friends. They don't know anybody. That has a psychological impact on them. It has an impact on the psychological impact on the player. So, like I said before, there ain't too many times where I agree with Draymond Green, but this is the time right here where I can agree with Draymond Green. And then what's even more baffling, you can't talk about it. If you talk about it publicly, then you're going to get fined. But the organization can come up publicly and say they're going to trade you, or they're going to buy you out and all that, and nothing happens to them, right? But a player can talk about another player on another team and they get fined for it. Oh, you're tampering. Which leads, let's go back. So when Draymond Green was on the NBA, right? When he was on that panel with Charles Barkley and the guys and all that, right? And he talked about the Devin Booker situation in Phoenix. Now, do I think Draymond Green was campaigning for Devin Booker to go to Golden State? No. I don't think he was doing that. I think he was just, talking about it in a situation where Devin Booker, the team, just wasn't doing right by Devin Booker. I don't think that Draymond Green was out looking like, oh man, he's just trying to campaign for Devin Booker to come to Golden State, right? But when he made that statement, it gave off the perception that, oh well, Draymond Green just campaigning for Devin Booker to come to Golden State, so that's tampering. So we're going to fine him $50,000. Now, see, one could look at that from twofold. One, should he be talking about as an active player? Should he talk about players on other teams? Um, if that was collectively bargained, then the answer is no, right? But on the other side, you know, one can make the argument that well, you know, he wasn't working he wasn't at that time. He was off, so you know he was on the panel and he was just giving his expressions based on what he saw. But I can see why the NBA made that rule about him. You know, hey, you're an active player. You shouldn't be talking about other players and all that. But my thing is, you shouldn't publicly be talking about other active players on other teams and all that. But this is the problem I got with that rule, right? They have each other's phone numbers. They talk all the time. So yes, I have a problem with that rule. But one thing, if they were out here, you know, well, you know, if they didn't have each other's phone numbers and they weren't like chilling, but they talk all the time. Motherfuckers hang out all the time. So how the fuck you can sit up there and try to enforce a rule like that? That's the problem I got with that rule. That, you know, the NBA does a lot of good things, but the NBA does a lot of dumb things as well. And that tampering rule, I think that's a stupid rule. Because at the end of the day, a player gonna go where he wants to go. You know what I'm saying? And they need to get rid of that goddamn rule, in my opinion. They really do need to get rid of that rule about, well, you know, you shouldn't be talking about players on other teams and all that. At the end of the day, the player's going to make the final decision where they want to go, whether they're a free agent, right? They're unrestricted free agent. They can go whatever they want. We've seen players turn down max deals all the time and take less money to go to a situation where a team can win the championship. We've seen this play out, right? What's up, Slick Tom? Jacob Jennings, good morning to you. Salute to you, man. So I don't agree with that rule where, you know, a player gets fined for, you know, talk about another player that's on another team and all that. He was very much right in what he said. Draymond Green was very much right in what he said. Now, do I think he's a scrub? Hell yeah, he's a scrub on the court. But he was absolutely right on his assessment on the treatment or lack thereof of the players that's being asked to be played this game. And yes, they are getting paid a lot of money. But we're not talking about that. So I don't, you know, but because you're going to have some people come in muddy in the water, talk, well, you know, they're getting paid a lot of money. And you know, when you get paid a lot of money, there's just certain level of expectations of that. Or, yeah, well, okay, so you say that and I say this, right? So doctors that's running around here sexually assaulting people and lawyers that's getting involved in corruption and all that, they get paid a bunch of money. Why aren't you holding them to the same standards? Judges that actively get involved in prosecutorial misconduct, right? Lawyers getting involved in prosecutorial misconduct. Doctors out there performing malpractice, right? politicians getting involved in scandals. Why aren't you holding them to the same standard? They get paid a lot of money. They get a lot of status. They get a lot of leeway. But no, it's an NBA player, but yet they're supposed to get held to a higher standard? Get the fuck out of here. You can't be any more disingenuous when you say that. Police officers who's gunning down black folks left and right. Right? Military service members getting involved in coup d'etats to overthrow the government. Where were you at when all that was going on? But it's an NBA player, and he's supposed to be the consummate professional, and he's supposed to, he has a high standard because he's getting paid a whole bunch of money, right? Miss me with that. Because if you're gonna have it one way, it needs to be across the board. I don't want to hear all this other stuff that we need to do this and we need to do that, and these players, they get a lot of money for the NBA, and I'm like, so why is you pocket watching? Why is you pocket watching? Why are you worried about how much such and such made? Huh? Well, he's the face of the league, and no, look, see, this is what they do. This is what the dominant society do, right? We saw this with on the episode of Undisputed one day where Jenny Taft did that. But Jenny Taft was running her mouth about, well, these players get held to higher standards and all that, and Shannon Sharp had to check her on that. Because I know what they're going to do. I know what they're going to say. When they look at Draymond Green, they're going to look at him like he's unhinged. Oh, well, this guy's out of control. I can't believe he would say stuff like that. So you're going to get on Draymond Green for telling the truth? The NBA should not fine Draymond Green for that, in my opinion. The NBA should not fine Draymond Green for him publicly stating what we see is going on. So I did a video on Saturday about how the media misleads you in sports, right? And one way that you get misled in sports is the powers that be changing the narrative, and they feed that information to the media members. So that's one thing we hadn't really talked about, how how organizations and people in high places suppress information. They don't want us to say the things that they're doing. They don't want us talking about what they're doing. They don't. And how they suppress people by not talking about what's really going on in front of us is by fining them, suspending them, making them out to be like some kind of outcast. We seen this play out with Colin Kaepernick in the NFL. The dude was taking a knee, peacefully protesting what was going on in America when it comes to police brutality and inequality in America, and he gets blackballed for all intents and purposes. Mark Jackson, his undying faith, because outside of basketball, Mark Jackson is a preacher. His undying faith, his unwavering love for our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And he gets blackballed from the NBA for that. Draymond Green tells the truth in the media, and like clockwork, Stephen A. Smith is going to run his fucking mouth on TV today about it. And you shouldn't say stuff like that, and I know Draymond Green a long time. I know his mom and I know his dad, and they got this pet dog that really licks my face every time I come around him. Just a beautiful time. But and Draymond Green is wrong, and this is why. The NBA, just put on your damn tap dancing shoes, will you? Like clockwork. It's practically it's past predictable at this point. It's pretty much widely expected. I appreciate that, Charlie. And you know what? That's going to spark a video I'm going to do here later on today. So we talked about how the media misleads you in sports. We're going to talk about how the media misleads you in politics, because we see if you see the United States politics is some of the worst media coverage in the world when it comes to U.S. politics. If you really want the truth about U.S. politics and their politicians, I would recommend you going on YouTube, going overseas and listen to overseas videos, right? Case in point, because this is going a little bit off the subject right now, but I'm going to get back on it. A little bit off the subject right now. So, the mainstream media here in the United States, especially, MSNBC, they painted this picture as Kamala Harris being this crusader for truth and integrity and justice and decency and all that, right? They painted this picture of her going to HBCUs. They follow her campaign all over the place. They, all that, right? They did all that to rehabilitate this woman's image, right? You go overseas to like Sky News Australia, right? Sky News Australia, you had a journalist for Sky News Australia go to the areas in Atlanta, Georgia, where they interviewed 3 black women, another journalist interviewed another black guy and all that, and they asked them, hey, what do they think about Kamala Harris, right? And they literally ran what those individuals said on TV verbatim, that this woman's no good. And just because she's black, that don't mean we're going to go out here and vote for her. They actually told the truth. They're saying the things that the mainstream media here in the United States won't say. And I respect Sky News Australia for that. They basically said the same thing about Joe Biden and Sky News Australia that we've been saying here in the United States. But if we say it, if I put it out on YouTube, then I get shadow banned and people get unsubscribed from my channel, right? Control tactics. Hey, Jeffrey Weaver, man, you have a good day, man. And we see this play out here right now. I guarantee you that the NBA is going to try find Draymond Green for what he said last night. I can't wait to do that video about that how the media misleads you in politics, man. That's gonna be a really good one. I wish Too Raw for TV will be available when we do that video. If you really want the truth about what goes on here in sports, because we all know, Stephen A. Smith is nothing more than controlled opposition. Okay, that's all he is. He's nothing more than controlled opposition. And he's not the only one. He's not the only guy that's part of controlled opposition. There's plenty more. And I support Draymond Green 100% from his comments last night. Now, like I said before, don't discount the fact that he's a scrub, because he is a scrub. But I still believe what he said last night was all 100% factual. The mistreatment of these players is disgusting, is disrespectful, and is disingenuous. And the only beef I got, the beef I got is I wish more players would come out and speak out against this, because it's not right. You expect these guys to remain a consummate professional with all the stuff that's going on with them, around them. When y'all tell him he's gonna get traded, and he finds out when we find out, you could be just going by his day. You don't even have enough courtesy to call the guy and let him know that he's gonna get traded, and y'all plan on releasing him and all that. He has to find out when we all find out on Twitter. That's disgusting, man. That's just beyond disgusting. And I'm not saying that happened specifically with Andre Drummond. I'm just saying in general. Because it did happen with DeRozan. It did happen with Boogie's cousin. Boogie Cousins was in an interview, for crying out loud. He found that you had a reporter basically walk up to Boogie Cousins while he was in the interview. And this when he played for the Sacramento Kings. Boogie Cousins was in an interview, and a reporter asked him, "Hey, did you know you got traded?" He's like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" That's the disrespect I don't like. Man, that is so disrespectful to do that. DeRozan's at a Summer League game. DeRozan at a Summer League game when 2 weeks ago he was told, or either 2 weeks or 2 days ago, that Masai Ujiri looked DeRozan in the face and told him he wasn't getting traded. This dude was at a Summer League game. Hey, just let you know, DeRozan finds out he's getting traded to the San Antonio Spurs. Another piece of evidence. Daryl Morey, when he was the GM at the Houston Rockets, right? Daryl Morey went on the Dan Patrick show and literally told Dan Patrick that Chris Paul was not getting traded along with James Harden, right? He literally set up there and told Dan Patrick that CP and CP3 and James Harden was not getting traded. Then everybody else was on the trading block, but those two. 2 weeks later, Chris Paul gets traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Russell Westbrook. And some draft picks and some other pieces. So you can't sit up here and get on the players for not being loyal when you got the owners and execs that do it all the time. They trade these players all the time at a moment's notice. Players don't even know they're getting traded, when they're getting traded, how they're getting traded, and yet you expect them to remain the consummate professional. But if they go off on you, then all of a sudden we want to fine them, we want to suspend them. Oh man, he's a locker room cancer. He's for conduct detrimental to the team and all that. So what's the NBA going to do about this? And no, they should not fine Draymond Green. Because all he's doing is calling out the double standards that's going on right now. So no, Draymond Green should not get fined. So what the NBA going to do? They need the whole, look, they got a collective bargaining agreement coming out soon. So when they have the collective bargaining agreement, this is the kind of stuff that needs to get brought up during collective bargaining. So you disagree with Draymond Green, but what do you disagree with Draymond Green about? All he doing is calling out the double standards. What's wrong with that? I don't have a problem with it because he's right. I still think he is scrub, but he's right about the double standards going on in the NBA. Oh, you do agree? Okay. I thought you said you disagree. Okay. Oh, that was just a mistype. Okay, or a typo. Okay. Okay, my bad. I thought you said you disagree with him. But yeah. But you guys definitely let me know what y'all think about this. I'm gonna come back here. There's two topics I want to talk about later on today, right? And they both involve politics. So I already talked about the one video I wanted to do with how the media misleads you in politics. And then I'm going to do a video about this one guy by the name of Austin Shang. Now, if you don't know who Austin Shang is, he's a Nigerian guy who wants to end Black History Month. So those are the two videos I'm going to do later on today. So check your timeline for whenever I go live. If you have not subscribed to this channel, I really would appreciate it if you do subscribe to the channel. I try to be very informative. Will they be cussing? Yes. Will there be explicit language? When we, saying, choice words? Yes, they will be there. But at the same time, I do try to be as informative as possible when it comes to the subject at hand. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would really appreciate it if you did. Make sure you hit the like button. And I'm looking to get to 1,000 subs. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, then I will give away something. I don't know what I'm gonna give away yet. I did say I will give away an Xbox, but if I can't find an Xbox, then I'll give away a TV. Probably find like a 50-inch and give that away or something like that. That'd be my 1,000 subscriber appreciation, thing. Because truth be told, yeah, I put out these videos and all that, but without you, this channel wouldn't grow to where it is right now, and it's going to continue to grow. And I thank all you guys that subscribe to the channel, and I thank all you guys and gals, because we have females that subscribe to this channel as well. So I do appreciate all of you guys and gals that listen to me rant and rave about whatever particular subject, because I do try to make it entertaining, and I do try to make it just as much as formative. So if you want to donate to the channel, there's my Cash App, there's my PayPal, and DJ7 for life, man. What's up, man? Long time no see, man. Good to see you. Big Worm the Perm, Nick Shepard, you know what I'm saying? What's up? Man. So yeah, man, love all you guys, man. You guys is why I keep doing these videos, and I'm gonna continue to do these videos. And I ain't got nothing else better to do, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna come back here a little bit later on. Smash a like, hit subscribe. This your boy. Scream at me. Hey!